So if I was gonna start a brand new agency or consulting firm in 2024, these are the 5 tools that I would implement immediately so I can get to 10K per month as fast as possible. And I say this because we've already had our business for 4 years now, and in that time we've closed millions of dollars over the course of 150 plus clients, and these tools that I'm about to share with you have been in my staple, in the core of my toolkit for the entire duration of my company. And that's why I'm confident that you will get value out of them as well. So the first tool that I'm going to talk about that you must have is a CRM, which is a customer relationship management tool. And this is so critical because without it, you're not going to be able to organize your sales process at all. So what is a CRM and why even have it? Basically, it's a tool that will allow you to organize your sales pipeline in a much more cohesive manner. So imagine this, right? You're doing all these sales calls and you're running out these marketing campaigns to try to generate interest, but you're still organizing them all inside some janky spreadsheet where the information is messy. And because of that, you don't really know who to follow up with. You don't really know which leads are actually the best leads to try to push over to the finish line. And these are all no-goes if you're trying to run a good business. But a CRM solves all these problems, allowing you to take notes during a call and then record it so that you remember, oh, here's what I spoke about with Bob last time, and therefore the next time you have a conversation with them, you actually have that history that you can rely on. You can schedule follow-ups with your important prospects so that you can actually make sure none of your leads slip through the cracks. You can mark down which prospects are at what stages so that you know how to prioritize, and you can even start projecting out, okay, this month or this quarter, here's how many deals I think I can close. And then you can track your metrics. For example, you could build a report and it shows you, oh, this month, I didn't generate as many booked calls, but the reason why is because I only sent out half the number of emails as I normally send out. Maybe I should fix that. So a CRM allows you to not only organize your pipeline and optimize for you to actually close more deals by focusing on the right prospects, but it also allows you to have the data analysis to understand where you should be focusing on forward into the future. Now, there's a lot of CRMs out there, but if you're an early stage entrepreneur, maybe you're just getting started with your agency or your consulting firm, you're gonna wanna keep things relatively simple. You don't need an insane level of features because those tools, although great, have a trade-off of being a little bit harder to learn. So a tool such as Folk, which I've been demoing this entire time, would be my recommendation for you because it's very intuitive and very easy for even the early stage entrepreneur to learn. So if that's something that you would like to try out for yourself, just go to my description box below and you can test it out. A link to sign up for an account is just down below. All right, so the second tool that I would recommend you use is some sort of lead scraping technology so that you can actually get access to the right contacts. Because when you're just starting out your business, you need to be able to actually get sales. And how do you get that if you don't even know who to be reaching out to? So that's why having some sort of scraping technology where you can find contact information, emails, phone numbers, LinkedIn URLs is really important. Now, you need to keep in mind that your database of choice to find this information will depend on who you sell to. For example, if you're going after local businesses, you're gonna be using a different database compared to, say, if you're going after B2B companies that are really large. Let me give you a couple recommendations here. If you're going after these local businesses, my recommendation would be to use Lead Sniper, because Lead Sniper is a really cool tool that will allow you to scrape Google Maps or even Yellow Pages. And if you're going after local businesses, this is actually the best way to find contact information for those particular types of companies. So this could be barbershops or spas as an example. And these tools, it's really as simple as just getting the Chrome extension, putting in the same search terms that you might be putting inside Google Maps, and then they'll just spit out the result and you'll be able to find that information. But let's say you're going after more B2B oriented companies, maybe accounting firms or lawyers or whatnot. In that situation, my recommendation would be either using Sales Navigator, which is LinkedIn's premium database in which you could put in a bunch of parameters so that you can find your ideal prospects, or you could use something like Apollo.io, which is quite similar to Sales Navigator. The main difference being that Apollo.io has a tool that will allow you to be able to extract the emails directly Sales Navigator would be more helpful if you're just strictly using for LinkedIn automation, because it can directly integrate to Sales Navigator and then pull those LinkedIn URLs and put them into an outreach campaign. Now, can you get the emails from a Sales Navigator list? Yes, but it just takes a lot more steps. And I actually do have a video right here that goes into how you can extract emails even from Sales Navigator. But certainly if you're running strictly an email campaign on its own, Apollo might be a little bit easier to get the information because there's a built-in feature for you to be able to pull those emails out. Now keep in mind, whenever you're actually pulling emails out from any of these databases, there's always going to be 10 or 20% of these leads that maybe have left their jobs and they've changed their emails, and those emails just no longer work anymore. So you do need to make sure that you give your list a little bit of clean. And that way, when you're sending out your email campaigns, you don't have too high of a bounce rate. Because if you're sending out 100 emails, but like 5 or even 10 of them are bouncing, then the email domain servers are gonna think that you're spamming and they're gonna end up freezing your account, which is very, very bad. So before you launch any sort of email campaign, make sure that you do clean the list so that you have a high deliverability score. And if you don't know how to do that, then I have this video right here where it goes into how you can actually take an email list, but clean it so that you have a much, much higher deliverability, which is incredibly important when you're running these campaigns. All right, so the third tool that I wanna recommend to you is an outreach tool. And this tool will allow you to do your prospecting for your potential prospects in order to be able to generate calls, meetings, opportunities. And this is where I'm gonna actually bring back the first tool that I had mentioned before, which was Folk. And part of the reason why Folk is such a cool tool is because it's not just a CRM. Yes, it will help you organize a bunch of different things in regards to your pipeline and the conversations that you've been having with your prospects, but it'll also help you in terms of the actual prospecting itself. You can see here that it actually has a Chrome extension that comes with the tool, and this Chrome extension will allow you to automatically pull in contacts from LinkedIn or from even Twitter and other social media profiles. And then from those profiles, you can actually do a one-click enrichment, and then you'll be able to find the email contact information of that lead. And now that you have all this contact information from these particular different contacts, you can just put them inside of Folk, and then you can actually run outreach campaigns directly inside of Folk so you can send out personalized outreach. And inside Folk, you actually have a lot of power to be able to come up with these cool little email sequences. So you can see here, you can set up an entire multi-step campaign. So on day 1, you could set up a message, maybe you wait 2 days before you send the following message, and then you could actually have a campaign that lasts over the course of multiple weeks to try to get someone to book a call. Especially for beginners, having many tools in your kit becomes a little bit overwhelming and confusing. So that's why I think that having a single tool that can allow you to do a lot of different things will be a more efficient way for you to ultimately run your business if you are starting out as a new agency owner or a consulting firm. Now, if you're trying to do LinkedIn automated outreach, my recommendation would actually be using Dripify, which is a really cool tool because it allows you to build out these really impressive campaigns inside LinkedIn. So you could have a connection request on day 1, and then as soon as they accept, you can immediately have them send out another message. But in the situation where they don't accept your connection request, you can even have other branching logic so that you can view their profile or like one of their posts to get them to hopefully connect with you down the line. And of course, Dripify automatically integrates with Sales Navigator. So if you do have Sales Navigator and you're building custom contact lists inside there, then you can just pull in those contact lists and use that as a prospecting list for your Dripify campaign. So it makes the experience really efficient. Now, of course, whenever you talk to a prospect, whether it be on email or LinkedIn, you wanna make sure that all those conversations get pulled into your CRM, because whenever you do have a call with a contact, you're gonna wanna be able to look back at your message history so that you understand what to be talking about on the call. And that's why, once again, Folk, the CRM that I was talking about before, is really great, because whether it be email or LinkedIn, you actually have the ability to pull in those historical conversations into your Folk CRM underneath the contact so that you can actually look back, review all the conversations up to that point in time, and then when you jump on the call, and you'll be able to have a good call. Now, the fourth tool that I'm going to recommend is a CMS. And a CMS is a content management system. But to put it simply, you pretty much build your website using a CMS. It doesn't need to be an overly complicated website either. Even if you just used a landing page builder that's fine as well. I personally use ClickFunnels because it's really easy to be able to set up a website using that software. It doesn't require any sort of code. It integrates with the majority of your typical marketing and sales software, so it makes it easier for you. But there's a lot of other options as well. Go High Level is a common one, or you can use WordPress if you need a little bit more customization. But my recommendation to you is don't get too lost in creating the most fancy website possible, because the reality is when you're first starting out, your website's just not gonna get that much traffic. Generally speaking, people don't really know who you are quite yet. So my personal philosophy at the start is to actually invest more into social media and actually putting the majority of my content on my social media, because I'm gonna be contacting people through my social media. So naturally, whenever I send someone, say, a LinkedIn message, they're gonna be going to my LinkedIn profile, and that's where they're gonna be learning about me primarily. I'm gonna get a lot more traffic there than I would be on my website, and that's still the case now. So do you need a website so that you have a minimum viable digital presence? Sure. And definitely for your website, it makes a lot of sense to have some sort of testimonial page where you can put in all of your client testimonials as social proof, and a professional calendar booking page so that when people are booking a meeting with you, you can give them a vibe that you are credible and that you have experience. But that being said, I wouldn't take too much time to try to make a perfect website. All right, the fifth and final tool that I'll recommend you to deploy is some sort of platform that will allow you to share free content organically. So this could be YouTube as an example. Something that I do a lot is obviously creating YouTube videos, because I know I can add a ton of value to the audience. And because I add a lot of value to them, they trust me and they ultimately want to book a call with me. But it doesn't need to just be YouTube. There's other ways that you can go about it. I have a Facebook group with 5,000 plus people, and that's a really great way where I can share helpful and valuable content, and that generates me inbound leads. And I do the same thing on LinkedIn as well. So you don't have to be utilizing every single platform out there. You can pick the one that makes the most sense for you. In 2024, I believe that long form video tends to have the most amount of impact in getting someone to trust you, which is why I'm investing more in YouTube. But ultimately, it is your choice. I believe it's really important that you don't just rely on doing outreach to generate leads, because with outreach, people are gonna be very skeptical. They're a cold audience. They've never heard of you before. Whereas if people actually see your face and hear your voice, it's gonna be a lot easier for them to trust you. So my recommendation is absolutely invest in some sort of long form, organic content distribution so that you can build an audience of real fans that will make your life honestly way easier down the line. So those are the 5 tools that I would recommend you deploy for your agency or consulting firm in 2024. If you're looking to scale, it absolutely makes sense to have these tools in your toolbox. So with that being said, my name is Lloyd Yip once again. I've helped over 150 plus clients at this point with optimizing their sales systems. So if you actually are looking to maybe get some additional recommendations on how you can scale, please just book a call with me below. More than happy to jump on a call with you so that I can give you a couple suggestions. And if this content was helpful, please like and subscribe. It would mean so much to me because I spend a ton of time into creating these videos, and I wanna make sure that it's adding value to the people who are watching it. But that's pretty much it on my end. I have a couple other videos that you can check out right here if that's interesting to you, and I will see you next time. Cheers.